Guild Wars here on Versus Live. I'm Todd Anderson. This is Ross Merriam. We got a lot more standard action for y'all today with this new awesome set. Bunch of sweet new guilds, sweet new mechanics.
Yes, but before we get to that, we have to give you the results of our straw poll from the previous match. We were playing a Simic sort of growing rights Explorer deck versus Orzhov Visitation. Todd soundly defeated me in the 2 games, but as we noted at the beginning of the broadcast, we were letting the audience vote at the end of each match which guild they want to see continue onto Thursday's show, and we will either rework that deck in a different theme or find a different angle to work with the guild. And we have the results of that straw poll. We don't know them yet. We're going to let our director, Dan, here announce them.
Hey, everybody. So, thank you to everyone who voted. So much drumming. So, with 51% of the vote, by a difference of 3 votes,
Whoa!
Todd's deck wins.
No!
Todd with the Civic Explorer deck.
Okay, all right. Well, we will revisit that archetype. I will probably end up splashing color and trying some stuff out, trying some different mana sinks. And we also have basically 2 more days of preview cards to slot into the deck. And with the adapt mechanic as well as just a bunch of really sweet Simic cards coming out, should be pretty fun to brew with.
Yes, and we're definitely going to be putting that one up against a deck that is heavier in disruption to see if it can stand up to that test, and we'll see how that goes.
Quick question: if I played 3 teamer decks on Thursday, would that upset you?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. It would depend. Not necessarily.
Okay. I mean, they will be wildly different, or at least 2 of them will. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But we are done with that match. Now we are moving on to match 2. Ross, tell me about this Gruul deck.
So this deck you can find in my article and a little bit of a breakdown about it. As the article is focused on Domri, Bringer of Chaos or Chaos Bringer. I can never get that straight. Which one? I think it's Chaos Bringer.
Yeah.
Just keep talking.
Yeah.
Chaos
Bringer.
So
Nope,
Bringer of Chaos.
It's literally. I just read it.
Okay, it's Chaos. Okay. So Domri Chaos Bringer, my article is focused on that card specifically. And so I have a very creature-heavy Gruul build. The only non-creature cards are 3 copies of Domri and 4 of Rhythm of the Wild, which is a card that I think is very, very good. Fires You Have Maya was a format-defining card way, way back in the Masks Invasion standard. There were a few pretty awesome tools to use with it back then that we don't have, like Sapling Burst, and they had access to both Birds of Paradise and Llanowar Elves.
Yeah, also just the card Flametongue Kavu was so powerful, and
Blastoderm.
And curving that with Fires Yavimaya with haste was just a 1-2 punch that even a lot of creature-based decks just couldn't handle.
Yeah, but here we also get the ability to have the creatures be uncounterable, which is really good against control decks if you can sneak the Rhythm of the Wilds down under their counter wall. So I think a card is a card that has a lot of potential. So I've built a sort of bigger Gruul aggro deck. It's a little bit mid-rangey, but it is trying to attack. We've got some 2-drops that synergize nicely with Rhythm of the Wilds. Growth Chamber Guardian being chief among them.
Yeah, so I want to pull this out because Growth Chamber Guardian is a really sweet card. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2 if we can pull it up on the screen. 3 mana to adapt. Whenever 1 or more counters is placed on Growth Chamber Guardian, you get to search your deck for another copy of it, put it in your hand. If you have the Rhythm of the Wild on the battlefield already, Growth Chamber Guardian effectively becomes Watch Wolf Squadron Hawk, which is pretty nice. Yeah. If you ask me.
Because any counter being placed on it will cause the ability to trigger not just the ones from Adapt.
Right.
So if you choose to put the counter on it from Riot, that Rhythm of the Wilds grants it, then you'll automatically get the trigger and you just start chaining 2 mana 3/3s.
Yeah, there are quite a few Simic cards previewed thus far where if you're able to put a counter onto the creature, it usually works with the adaptability, but if you just have it with Rhythm of the Wild to trigger it, that's also just fine. I'm sorry I made you shuffle your deck.
No worries.
It's fine. I just wanted to look at these cards and make sure that I wasn't an idiot.
Yeah, so my deck it's of the ilk of decks like we saw several years ago, like Thundermaw Hellkite, of like green-red monsters with Stormbreath Dragon. So I have the new dragon as well, whose name escapes me. Which
Giant
is
dragon.
It's a 3-red 4/4 with Riot, so it can either be a 5/5 flyer or 4/4 with haste, like we've seen. And then if it has a +1/+1 counter on it, you can pay 3 in a red to deal 2 damage divided as you choose among any targets. So with multiple with Rhythm of the Wilds, because multiple instances of the word Riot are cumulative, you can choose to put a counter and give it haste, so it becomes a 5/5 haste and has the ability to pick off small creatures or start dealing damage to players. So another card that I think slots well into this deck. So we're trying out a lot of the Gruul cards. We're going to have a ton of different Riot, not triggers. It's like just a choice ability. I don't know exactly how to call it, but we're going to try to accelerate some big creatures, attack Todd down. We have a little bit of interaction here with Ravager Worm at the top end of the curve to be able to fight down some blockers. I also have Territorial Allosaurus. These are both good mana sinks at the high end as well. So Domri adds extra mana, so we can utilize that.
Also, just find cards to give haste. They're just giant bodies, pretty efficient at that. And if you have enough mana in certain spots, you can just give them the ability to fight an opposing creature and still attack. Very Flame Twin Kavu-esque, but a little mana intensive.
Yes. So,
all right. Well, that does sound like a sweet deck. We're going to be pitting it against what I consider one of the sweetest builds of anything out of the new set that I've seen so far.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite decks that I've seen in previous season. It's my favorite of the 6 decks that we have today. It's great.
Ari Lax talked a lot about the card Gruesome Menagerie with Judith the Scourge Diva, and as well as just Gruesome Menagerie with a lot of the new stuff going on. This particular build is goblin oriented, using Skirk Prospector as the primary sacrifice outlet with Judith the Scourge Diva, and I think that it fits so perfectly.
Yeah. I think Skirk Prospector is the premier sacrifice outlet if you want to go that route, like tokens and Judith, just because it doesn't cost mana to utilize. In fact, nets you mana, so that even enables more degenerate turns.
Yep.
An underrated card and a great 1-drop to return with Gruesome Menagerie, so awesome synergy there. You already have Goblin Instigator as a great fuel for the entire engine. So a lot of people are talking about these sort of Mardu Aristocrat style builds, trying to shove all of the Pitiless Pontiffs and the Taces and the Afterlife cards in with Judith and maybe some removal spells. And I think you just have it all to do it in Rakdos. Like, you don't need to splash white. You don't need to make your deck that much less consistent, and you even get tribal synergy, so you get to play unclaimed territory. It's so elegant. I love it.
Yeah, I really like it too. The original version that Ari Lax played was a little less focused on the goblin theme. He was playing 4 copies of Plaguecrafter in the main deck, a very strong card against planeswalkers, as well as just like decks with a lot of mid-range creatures. Yeah, it gets around the dive down effect. So it's something that I might end up missing. He also had 4 copies of Midnight Reaper in the main deck. So he did have like a certain number of humans that went kind of hand in hand with these goblins. I chose to keep Midnight Reaper and cut Plaguecrafter, and instead change the mana base a little bit and play Goblin Chain Whirler. I think Goblin Chain Whirler is going to be a pretty big part of the metagame, helping you against like aggressive strategies. But the fact that it's a goblin is pretty great. It deals 1 to everything, and if you have Judith Scourge Diva, Skirk Prospector, and you cast a Goblin Chain Whirler, you do 1 to everything, and then you can start sacrificing goblins and pick off a bunch of creatures at once that all have around 2 to 3 toughness.
Yeah, that sounds great. It gives you the ability to play more of an aggressive plan and lean on the controlling decks that are going to have enough disruption generally to stop your synergies from coming through. And Judith fits really well into an aggressive shell. Like, you play Goblin Instigator on turn 2, it doesn't look like much, and then when you Judith, you attack them for 4, and that is a strong start.
I agree. The card Fanatical Firebrand pairs insanely well with Judith, and it's also a goblin, which is nice. But the top end of this deck is really what I want to see, just how good it is. Right now, we have only, I believe, 11 sources of black that actually cast Gruesome Menagerie, which is not a lot.
For a 3 black card?
Yeah, it's not a lot. But the games go pretty long. We can cast our other black cards with Unclaimed Territory by just naming human if we need to in a pinch. I understand. Okay? We're going to work on it, but it's hard. Chain Whirler and a double black 5-mana non-creature is tough.
That is true.
It's just a concession that you're going to have to make sometimes, right? We could just go up to 4 Rakdos Guildgate. I'd be okay with that. It's a lot, though, right? You could maybe play 1 swamp, and then every time you draw the swamp, you can't cast Chain Whirler. There's going to be concessions that you have to make. I know that when I played a similar deck to this in Standard, I want to say 17 years ago or so, no, 15 years ago or so, maybe more than that. Anyway, Goblin Bidding was the archetype. It had a lot of these same cards. I know it was probably closer to 20 years. Just leave me be.
I just want to say that I played that deck a lot.
Okay.
That was like the first Standard deck I built. I played it for probably
so
6 months.
Yeah, this might be hard to find. Patriarch's Bidding is very similar in this deck to Gruesome Menagerie in that it helps you create this really powerful effect on turn 4 or 5 that allows you to overwhelm your opponent when you're ahead, but also catch you up when you're really far behind. Patriarch's Bidding lets you bring all of them back. Not quite as good as Gruesome Menagerie, but still able to bring back a 1, 2, and a 3, and your deck has plenty of really powerful 1s, 2s, and 3s. I think Wily Goblin is actually going to end up being the hinge for the deck. Not only as a mana generator, he's a goblin.
Fixer for Menagerie.
Fixer for Menagerie, which is huge. That actually came up in one of the test games we were playing earlier. I think this deck just has it all, and we just have to find the right pieces to put into the archetype.
Were you including Wily Goblin? Obviously not, because you have 8 dual lands. So
I have 8 dual lands and 3 guild gates, and then
4 Wily Goblins.
And then I think I have 3 unclaimed territory, but it might be 4, and I have 4 Wily Goblins.
Okay.
We have
Wily Goblin helps you get a little bit further. I like that. I also want to point out that Gruesome Menagerie, like Patriarch's Bidding, also gives you this excellent tool against wrath effects.
Right.
So when they tap out on turn 4 or 5, now more often turn 5, back then it was turn 4, regardless of if you're on the player draw, if you're just making your land drops, you can cast this card, rebuild your battlefield immediately. Back in the day, because a Goblin War Chief, sometimes it just killed, most of the time Bidding just killed them.
Right.
If the game went long enough. We have access to Goblin War Chief now. It's a significantly worse card than it used to be because removal just sort of kills it.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, there were very few good removal spells that really killed it. It was like Smother and red removal.
Mm-hmm.
The white decks kind of struggled. So maybe we want to end up playing War Chief, but probably not. You also don't have Goblin Sharpshooter and things like that.
There's no real incentive to give all your creatures haste in this strat.
Yeah.
Gruesome Menagerie is going to be more of a, I'm going to bring back 3 things, and we're going to use those things to leverage triggers and interactions to gain dominance on the battlefield.
Yeah.
One card. I want to interject here, but then I want to get to the match because we're going over on talking a little bit. Status Statue was a card that everyone when Guilds Round goes first preview was like, this card goes really nicely with Goblin Chain Whirler, and Status Statue can be played in this deck alongside Goblin Chain Whirler. All you have to do is cut some mountains for Stomping Ground and Rootbound Crag, and then you could just play that back half of Status Statue, which is Statue, as a 4-mana removal spell, but the front half. For a green/black mana, you can target Chain Whirler with a trigger on the stack. It'll kill all your opponent's creatures. Or you can target Judith before a bunch of your creatures die, and then every single ping from Judith can kill a creature as well. So you get this 4-mana removal spell that's versatile, can kill a creature, artifact, or enchantment. But you also get, for 1 mana, the ability to just sweep your opponent's battlefield. So it's something I want to try. I didn't put that into the deck today because it stretches the mana base a bit, and I want to see how the core of this Goblin Menagerie deck works first.
Yeah, but that is definitely a direction that is super interesting to move in and very powerful.
Yeah. All right, okay. So let's go ahead and draw opening hands. Let's field 2 questions.
Of course.
I'm on the play because I lost match 1.
Yep.
Todd from Histeas. Why Rakdos Guildgate over Cinder Barons?
Because we're a Rakdos deck. We're not a Cinder Barons deck. We're a Rakdos deck. Get out here.
It's Guild Wars, not wherever Cinder Barons is wars.
All right. My hand is pretty good, so I'm good to go. So
my hand is also pretty good. So
we can take a few more while we're just starting the first few turns, though.
Ross, back to your deck from. Actually, no, Todd, your deck from last time. Why no Herald of Secret Streams?
I don't think that card was previewed when I built the deck.
No. It's from Ixalan. It's the merfolk that gives all your creatures with +1/+1 counters on it unblockable.
Well, so Zagana does kind of the same thing where she gives them trample. Yeah, now that he says that makes a lot of sense. Ross is at 19, by the way, for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of just overkill.
It's also not what the deck is really looking to do. You're not looking to set up this battlefield and one-shot them. You're just going to overwhelm them and have such a huge battlefield presence to draw so many cards that you win anyway. So it's kind of an unnecessary effect. Might be good in like a mirror match kind of situation where you're both doing the same thing and you need that stalemate breaker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's where I could see that.
Thorn Lieutenant, very strong in this matchup. It helps contain a lot of my early pressure, and it punishes me if I ever want to try to target it. So we're not going to do anything crazy here. We're just going to start building our side of the battlefield.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play a Gruul Spellbreaker. It's a 3/3 with Riot and Trample. As long as it's my turn, Spellbreaker has Hexproof, and so do I. I'm going to choose to give it haste because I want to get aggressive here. given Todd start and just attack for 5.
All right, I'm at 15.
Pass. A
So-
Judith here might punish me, but I think I need to get aggressive. If we let Todd establish his synergies, they're going to be really powerful. Maybe I'm only supposed to attack with 1 creature and leave 1 back. That's sort of like the half and half, the tight aggressive play. But this just isn't threatening a lot of damage without a Judith.
I really needed to draw a couple lands in a row to get things going.
There's also something to be said here about putting the counter on Spellbreaker in case Todd had a Chain Whirler.
Gonna shoot this and draw 2.
Wow.
I need to hit land drops, and these, I mean, they're chump blocking, and this trample.
You attack for 1 first, right? With the Wily Goblin?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I go to 18. You take 2, go to 13.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw 2 and hit a Blood Crypts.
11.
11 Prospector. Go.
Okay.
Actually, that was bad. I should have just played Prospector. Can I just redo this turn? These were
Sure.
the 2 draws. No, this was which? Oh, it was Blood Crypt Instigator were the 2 draws.
Okay.
I had this. This was it. All right. So, oh no, because I tapped out to play this. I can't.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, I did it right. I'm sorry. I was just
Okay.
like, what the heck am I doing? Instead of just generating.
Play the
mana
Prospector.
Yeah, in the
So
Prospector.
you're at 11. I'm at 18.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Interesting. So now Midnight Reaper is probably going to trade for this Spellbreaker. So that's something I'm okay with. Thing is, like the if I'm able to get other damage through, the longer Midnight Reaper stays on the battlefield, the more it becomes a liability.
Mhm.
If I can get Todd's life low, but I can't attack at all if I don't want the Midnight Reaper to trade.
Mhm.
So I think I just continue to mash in. So you take 3 total.
Is it tramples? I
Yeah.
kind of just want to block this
Sure.
because
And it prevents 2 damage either way. It's just a
Yeah.
question of which one you want to leave me with.
block here. I can
Okay.
jump block this forever. So
So you go to 8 total, or you take 3 to 8, and then you take 1 from the Reaper dying.
yeah, I'm at 7.
7. So 7 to 18, and I am going to play another Thorn Lieutenant and a Lenore Elves and pass the turn.
Okay, I will. Goblin Instigator.
Get you Cedric.
Yeah, I'm gonna sack this Chain Whirler to bust that.
I go to 17.
And go. This will keep him off of potentially pumping his Thorn Lieutenants.
Territorial Allosaurus.
Mhm.
No kicker. Pass the turn.
That doesn't trample naturally, right?
Nope, just a 5/5.
Good news. Attack.
What does this mean?
Means I'm putting up some defense. And you're 100% not blocking.
So you would have to find 2 more damage to deal with the Allosaurus. That would be between Firebrand and Judith, maybe Siege Gang Commander. If you had Siege Gang, though, you would have to, even if you had land 5, you could cast it, and you'd have to sack 3 goblins to deal with the Allosaurus, which I'm okay with. Like, they're just going to chump the Allosaurus a bunch anyway. Yeah, I'm going to block.
Okay. I'm going to play Menagerie. Back this.
That was the thing.
All right, 1 to everything, and then Firebrand.
That was the
down.
card.
And I get
So
a
I'm
token.
at 16. I'm not good.
Oh, it's fine. I had a lot of plays that turn, and if you didn't block, then I was just getting in free damage anyway.
Yeah. So I'm at 16.
I have you at
So I have
17, but whatever. Okay, sure.
Okay. I'm going to play a Spellbreaker. This time I'll choose to get the counter to get it above Chain Whirler range. And Lenore Elves.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
I will maybe human on this. case we need the Menagerie mana. Play this. Going to sacrifice this for a red. Go to 6. Go to 5. Shoot this down.
I go to 15.
Attack with this.
So you probably have another Firebrand. No, you would have played Firebrand first.
And this has damage on it. So
oh yeah,
I'm just trying to trade with these or whatever.
Yeah.
And
there's a damage on it from the chamber. Okay, so no blocks. I go to 12.
Okay. Then I'm gonna play Instigator, get another token.
Yep.
And I could just like keep kind of chaining red off of these, but my life total is getting pretty low, and I might get to a point where I just can't block anymore because of Midnight Reaper. So I'm gonna say go. Probably end up blocking this turn. Dragon.
Yeah. I just give it haste. It's a 4/4, and now you have to somehow like block all 3 of these without having a creature die. A non-token creature.
Rats. Okay.
I was stuck on 4 lands for so long.
All right. Midnight Reaper looked really sweet there, but ultimately dealt ourselves too much damage. Your turn 2 into turn 3 attacking for 5 it put me pretty far behind.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but we were doing some cool stuff, and that's what I want to see. All right, we're gonna take a short break here. Help pay the bills. We're gonna get our sideboard configurations fixed. We're gonna be fielding some questions. If you have any, make sure to @SCG Tour and Twitch chat with your question. Dan May is going to be picking a few of his favorites, and we'll be asking them when we come back. All right, we're back here for sideboarding with the Rakdos versus Gruul matchup. This Rakdos Goblin Menagerie deck is looking pretty sweet so far. We did some really disgusting stuff. Unfortunately, we're still losing to the 5-mana haste dragons, just like it's Stormbreath Dragon all over again.
I was on the play, came out aggressively, and that forced Midnight Reaper into being a bit of a liability. Was able to just barely finish you off before you were taking control.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of spot removal, and that's something that maybe we could shore up a bit once we get the core of the deck down. All the moving pieces felt good so far, though.
This might be a deck that could play Vicious Offering, too.
Yeah, Vicious Offering doesn't sound too bad. Main deck Playcrafter might actually just end up being better than Midnight Reaper, but we saw how versatile Midnight Reaper was in that game. On turn 3, we were able to sacrifice a token, trade 2 of our creatures on the battlefield for fresh cards looking for mana. It's possible we just want another land or 2 in the deck. Not quite sure. We'll talk about that more when we get some more games under our belt. For sideboard, we got 3 copies of Playcrafter, 2 Bedevil coming in. Playcrafter is a card that I'm not sold on it being a main deckable card at the moment. There's too many Golgari decks, and you could just play against a bunch of tokens and things like that. With Azorius having like this Thopter sub theme, there's a chance that Playcrafter ends up being pretty poor. But as a sideboard card, I think it's more than fine. I'm not a huge fan of Dark Dweller Oracle. The play patterns with this card don't seem like I'm going to be using it very much, and I can just rely on Skirk Prospector to be my main sacrifice outlet, and just utilize the +1/+0 ability of the Scourge Diva more than anything.
Yeah. This isn't really a matchup where you're trying to grind value too much. You just need to deal with my big threats and then stabilize the battlefield, and then your synergy should take over. And so you're cutting some of the value-oriented cards and just bringing in some removals so that you can enact that game plan.
Right. And we're going to be seeing just how good this is. We're going to be cutting one of our 4 Midnight Reapers. I think drawing 2 of them is always bad in this match because of the aggressive slant of his strategy.
Yeah. And as you saw in game 1, I was able to get in damage early with my bigger creatures as Todd was setting up his synergies, take advantage of a stumble, and then finish in the air. And I think that's a pattern that's going to happen a lot in the games that I'm winning in this matchup. Mm-hmm. So I'm cutting some of my more expensive ground pounders because these cards sort of get blanked on the battlefield. And just get chump blocked a fair amount while you're setting up a big turn to kill me. I'm leaving in 1 Ravager Worm as sort of an extra piece of removal if I need to deal with a Siege Gang Commander late or Judith or something like that. And then because I'm bringing in some actual removal spells, Domri gets a little bit worse, so I'm trimming a copy there. I'm bringing in some Lava Coils, which can be stopped by Skirk Prospector, but the exiled removal is good against Midnight Reaper. It's good against Gruesome Menagerie, getting some of your key pieces in the exile zone. Yeah, and Judith. So it's still a solid removal spell here to have, and just good at clearing away an early Goblin Chain Whirler as well, so I can keep attacking with my creatures.
Right.
Got Death Guard Scavenger, which is great at exiling cards in the graveyard to make Menagerie worse.
Yeah, plus your life total could be in jeopardy at some points, and
Yep.
just gaining a few points of life here and there is good.
It's also really nice with Riot. When you give it haste, you get to trigger it twice in that first turn.
Nice, yeah.
Just 3/2 gain 4 can really turn a race around.
Dude, I am loving this Rhythm of the Wild
Yeah.
card, I'll say that.
And then Cannonade is just the obvious haymaker here, just really good, especially against Siege Gang Commanders. So
Yep.
that's our all-star sideboard card for the matchup.
All right, let's get a couple of questions here while we're shuffling into mulligans.
Absolutely. From Philip J. Fry 27 for Ross, what do you think about Legion War Boss in a deck like this?
In the
In your
Gruul
Gruul
deck,
That sounds pretty nice with
Rhythm of the Wilds,
yeah.
I could see
giving it haste too if you need to.
I could see that being better than something like Gruul Spellbreaker if things just don't line up for the card. I'm just trying the new one, but yeah, that's definitely that's a real card.
Why wouldn't? Okay, I could just play Jund and I could play Rhythm of the Wild in this deck.
And Legion War Boss in your Goblin token deck.
Yeah,
that's Legion War Boss can go into either of our decks.
Like Gruesome Menagerie seems cool, but what if I just was this like Jund Goblin aggro Judith deck and all my creatures either had haste or +1/+1 based on the situation, and if you ever kill them, Judith kills your stuff or kills you.
Yeah, you also get to turn 2 Rhythm or War Boss with Prospector sometimes.
I'm not gonna do that. Get out of here.
I'd do that.
All right.
You're just like on the play, turn 2 War Boss.
Yeah, turn to War Boss doesn't sound that bad. All right, one more.
Okay. So from Angel's Cradle, again for Ross, what do you think about Ethereal Absolution in the deck for your tokens?
You're gonna have to tell me what that card is.
All right, I will gladly tell you what that card is. So, black, white, 4 for an enchantment.
This is the previous deck. Okay.
Yes. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1. Black, white, 2. Exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. If it was a creature card, you create a 1/1 white-black spirit creature token with flying.
Was this like just revealed?
It was probably revealed just as you guys went live.
Yeah.
No idea.
So
You're gonna have to give me more than on the spot analysis of that.
So
of that one.
All right, so
in the way I have the deck built now, where it's somewhat aggressive, that card doesn't really fit in.
Yeah.
But if you go the way Todd suggested and have 4 Kaya's Wraths and go in a more controlling direction, that's a real nice card to slam after the board is clear.
Yeah, I mean that card also seems pretty good against something like Golgari, where a lot of the creatures start as like base 1 toughness and then start to get bigger afterwards.
Nice
so
explore creatures, dingus.
Yeah, blanks all their branch walkers, elves, Jadelight Ranger. That's not so bad. I just for clarity's sake, I lost game 1, so I mulliganed to 7.
Okay.
So shut up about it. Okay. My hand is pretty good. We're gonna keep.
So is mine.
All right. Go and start off. You can ask one more question first.
Yeah.
Couple turns while we're just kind of playing stuff.
What from Histeos, what card do you think will have from Ravnica Allegiance? Do you
19.
think will probably have the best animation in Arena?
I don't know. Yeah, probably Scourge Diva if she's just like, "Welcome to the party," or something. You know, I don't know.
Like flaming confetti and stuff.
Yeah. Whenever she like shoots down a creature, she'll just be like, "That's what I was born for, sweetie." All right, I'll sacrifice it.
Yeah.
Ross is at 19 from taking a damage.
Just lava coiling there for mana efficiency reasons. Prospector is also just a really important card for Todd.
Thankfully, Ross used lava coil, so might have trouble getting rid of this Midnight Reaper.
We're gonna play District Guide and get a forest.
Yikes.
Block.
Yep. I will go to 19 and draw a card.
Yep. Both are 3 drops to a card.
I will Chain Whirler for 1.
18.
Shoot 18 and Pester.
Wow. Play another District Guide.
Mhm.
This one will get a mountain.
Swing.
Take it. 15. 14.
Go. 14 and 19. Chainwhirler is not looking super good in this matchup. Ross's only 1 toughness creatures really are going to be Llanowar Elves, and the thing that really looks pretty good on them is combining them with big splashy effects once we do like Menageries and Judiths, as well as just having the 3/3 first strike body checks a lot of his X3 creatures. So he's forced with like Gruul Spellbreaker to make it a 4/4. And, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to play a Growth Chamber Guardian and adapt it.
Yeah.
Find another one.
Yeah, he's doing that main phase, obviously, while I'm mostly tapped out, so he can guarantee that he gets a 4/4 and is able to do the darn thing. I just want... I have drawn literally... I started with 3 lands. I drew 5 lands and 1 spell.
Oh, this is the first spell I drew this game.
Right, similar...
So we're...
Similar things. All right, we each sack creature. Go. Yeah, but yours is a Squadron Hawk, so I think you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I can't really clear it, and you're just going to have an army of 4/4s.
Well, I assume if Todd had a Bedevil, he would have used it on the Guardian.
Yeah, and attack for 6.
Yeah,
100%.
so I'm going to play a Skargan Hellkite on this turn.
Nice.
And pass.
All right. That was a good draw, but I don't know how good. Attack for 8.
Jeez.
Yeah, now if he chooses to block, this will first strike this down, but if he blocks with this, we'll be able to shoot it for the last point. So he either has to chump block or take 8. And I think, I guess he could double block 1 and then kill 1. Or that's the same as just blocking with the Hellkite, though. So
I think I might take it.
yeah, I don't think taking it so bad because
I would go to 6 and then kill this. I would bring it to 5. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it. Go to 6.
Yep, I have not played a land. We'll say Goblin. Go.
Yeah, you're on the play. Not a lot of missed land drops this game. That was a good draw. Let's play a Ravager Worm.
Okay.
And fight down to Judith.
I'll
and
go
I think
1 to you.
I'll have it be a 5/6. I'm not attacking with it, I don't think. Yeah, because if you have... I have to play around a removal spell. So I go to 5.
It's time for my cut and call.
So I'm trying to think of what I do against another Judith, and I'd have to block both against it. And so I think I just attack with the 4.
No one cares about strategy, Ross. They just want to hear more Skirt Diva quotes.
That brings you to 15.
Yeah.
Pass the turn.
15, that's a 5/6, right?
Yes. I have 5/6 and a 5/5 flyer.
Okay. Make some goblins.
Sure.
Your turn. Okay. I'm just kidding.
Fiery Cannonade, then activate this to finish these off.
Yeah. All right. Let's play a game 3 because I want to see this deck in action a little more because that draw was not super good.
Yeah.
That was very, very, very good.
That one's pretty good. So I'm just gonna kill Todd's team, attack him down to 1. And he's gonna be dead.
All right, we're gonna bring in the other Midnight Reaper because I just want to do more fun, cool stuff. What are we gonna cut? Let's get a Chainwhirler out of here. No, because I want to do the cool stuff with the Skirk Prospectors and the Judith. I'm gonna just cut a Bedevil. Whatever. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. All right, 2 questions. Hit me.
Can we
break a leg?
Can we get Todd to voiceovers for Arena and Watson?
They sweet job. Better pays pretty well.
Oh man.
I recently started using the Planeswalker sound bites as notifications on my stream. That's pretty sweet. I just have Raul Zarek just whenever someone subscribes, it just goes, ooh, shocking.
You can mute those, right?
No.
No,
you can't.
Yeah.
I can. If you're watching my stream, you're hearing it, baby.
Sure.
Ooh,
but I'm saying when I play Arena, I can mute those. Please tell me I can.
Maybe.
God, if I can't mute them.
Also, they're not the same every time. They're like
I don't care.
Just
I'm an old fuddy-duddy.
Salty old man. All right, my hand is great.
I want to play music when I'm testing.
You can. Well, yeah. If you're playing Arena, you can mute all the sounds.
Yeah.
You can't choose to have some of them and not all of them. I believe.
That makes sense.
There's music, and then there's effects, and
You're good.
well, there might be a voice thing you can turn off too. All right. Ping.
Eh.
Why are you so mad about this Lanowolf dying? You're so mad about it.
I was never allowed to have Llanowar Elves. Literally never.
Yeah.
All I want is to have a Llanowar Elves. And we'll play a Thorn Lieutenant. Pass the turn.
Human.
I think I'm still going to block one and just take my 1/1.
Yep. You go 17. I'll shoot the lieutenant for 1 damage. You get a 1/1.
One little Liam Lonergan.
Your turn.
So I'm at 17.
Yep.
I assume this Liam Lonergan is not long for the world, but we'll see.
I can kill it at any point. Just pop. Turn my Skirt Prospectors into Mog Fanatic.
Okay, well, I'm going to play Rhythm of the Wild and hopefully not fall too far behind here.
Yeah, I don't think you are going to. Ooh, baby. What's this? Human Shaman? Oh, this is a Zombie Knight? Son of a biscuit eater.
Todd got close
Found
to
the negative synergy.
Todd got close to getting fired here.
Found the Nambo.
Nice mana base. Oh, come on now.
I'm just curious.
Okay. I'm shuffling your deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I loot?
No,
All right.
you're the one who built the deck. It's other, right?
While,
No.
while he's shuffling, Todd.
No, you know what? Whatever. Scourge Diva, 1 here, 1 you. Attack for 4, so
So
you're 12.
due to the legend rule, the Judith dying, they'll both trigger. So your extra Judiths end up just being forked bolts, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take one from the one of those triggers to 16, and then you attack for 4, bring me to 12.
All right, question.
Okay. From Prairie Dog Style, why isn't Spawn of Mayhem included in your list?
I don't
Don't
know.
remember that one. That was
Nope.
spoiled a while ago.
Is that the black 2/4/4 flyer?
Yes. With
Yeah.
Spectacle for 1 black.
So this deck is a much more about building a battlefield and doing really weird, interesting, explosive, like one big turn, right? That card fits really well into a super low to the ground, very aggressive black base aggro deck. If you can cast that on turn 3, it's just a 4/4 flyer that pings everybody every turn or whatever. That's great, but it doesn't really fit in this deck. Like, Judith the Scourge Diva alongside something like that just doesn't make sense. You want to maximize the +1/+0. You want to maximize a lot of smaller creatures to sacrifice and do the cool things. And this isn't a trigger, right? So I could never.
No, it's right as they enter with it. Yeah, you make the choice. Nice mana base.
Sir.
All right, go. I know you're just gonna play your stupid dragon. Whatever.
Well, I wasn't, but now I am.
Did you just draw the dragon?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least
What-
it's not Stormbreath, or at least it's not Glorybringer and like sniping off my creature
You have
right
me at
immediately.
12.
I have you at 12. Come on, do your thing. Daggerin, 5/5.
So we have 2 instances of Riot. So I'll choose haste and a +1/+1 counter
All right, I'm at 15.
and attack for 5. 15. I mean, my plan was just to play 3/3/3s this turn, but
Yikes.
with 6 mana.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that would be okay.
All right, and a Reaper. I will.
I mean, you have Bedevils in your sideboard too with such little black mana.
Shut up!
Got a
Leave me alone.
little greedy with
Leave
this
me
one, didn't
alone.
we? Got a little greedy.
Attack. I thought this was a human. I actually just misbuilt. Because I think Plaguecrafter is a human, but I'm gonna double check.
Playcrafter, I think, yeah. If Playcrafter
Yeah.
is human.
I just thought
It
they
is.
were all
People put it
humans.
in humans and modern. I'll block
Oh,
with
that sounds
Sister Guide.
nice. Okay. Black Disregard. Okay. I will let the damage resolve. Got to trigger target with Judith before I draw the card off Midnight Reaper. That's going to put me to 14. I will. If I draw a red source, I can play Chain Whirler and kill both. And I think I have to do that to have a chance. So I will deal 1 here. You win. That's fine.
I mean, I think even with that, you're in rough shape against the dragon.
I mean, yeah, but if I kill these 2, I have at least these 3 things. If you kill Judith,
Let's
yeah,
play 3/3 next turn.
No, you only have. Oh, you have.
I have a
land.
land, yeah.
Look, man,
Don't even have to take damage.
that's fine. Your deck is super cool.
This synergy is like this is just busted.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Especially because it curves so nicely. Just going Llanowar Elves into Rhythm into this, play 2 3/3s, and have another one back in my hand. So I've committed nothing.
Yeah,
like
no, it's Squadron Hawk, and I mean, I just think that Rhythm of the Wild is just disgusting. Card's just nuts.
Yeah, because a lot of the actual at first I thought multiple instances of Riot wouldn't be cumulative. And most of the Riot creatures are sized in very specific ways so that the +1/+1 counter is super relevant. So like Scarring Hellkite, it can be a 4/4, but at the 5th point it survives Lava Coil, which is really big. With Ravager Worm, making it a 5/6 lets it fight Niv-Mizzet and Lyra. That's really big.
Yep.
So there's a lot they clearly did their homework.
Very well designed, tweaking cards as they went, and made sure that things checked other things without getting completely out of hand.
Yeah. So the second instance of Riot is super relevant. You just get everything. You get it to the size it needs to be, and you get haste.
Yeah. So it's like a Fire's Yavimaya, but also allows all your cards to supercharge themselves with their own abilities.
Oh, and by the way, they're all uncounterable.
Yeah.
So nice absorb.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the Rakdos deck a bit, because this is something I want to explore more. The archetype of aristocrats. We have to have some sacrifices made to build our deck in such a way. Like, we can't play a lot of non-creature spells. I think that's something that really takes away from the archetype in general. We have to figure out whether or not the Gruesome Menagerie is actually worth the double black, because that was a very rough bottleneck in a lot of spots. Rakdos Guildgate is awful. I don't ever want to play it, but sometimes you have to. We can maybe find a way to play Status Statue so that we get more explosive turns with both Chain Whirler and Judith, and that'll give us ways to clear off these giant battlefields that Golgari and Gruul can set up against you.
It's like when you don't have a lot of space for removal, you need the removal spells. You do have to be really high impact. Mm-hmm. I remember the list, the Thunderbolt Hellkite, Arbor Elf kind of decks, Elvish Mystic decks that were played towards the end of their time in Standard had 4 bonfires only removal. This huge spell that could just swing a battlefield. And that's the kind of thing, status stats, you can do that, but also function as just a solid removal spell for a lot of different stuff. So that's a card I'd be interested in if you want to maintain Chain Whirler. But I think if you want to play Menagerie, you can't play Chain Whirler.
I know. I think you have to choose Chain Whirler Menagerie, but I choose Chain Whirler. I think that we're going to be playing against like Gruul today, and it didn't look very good. But Mono White's still going to exist. Mono Red's still going to exist. You're going to play against opposing 1 toughness based decks like this aristocrat style of thing. Yeah. Token generators, all this stuff. Chain Whirler is going to continue being a powerful pillar of the format. And just because it wasn't that good here today, I think is more of a testament to me not building the Status Statue version of this deck.
Okay. So poll time.
Yes.
If you are just joining us, we're doing a poll after every match today, and you can choose which guild you want to remain and come back for Thursday's show, and we will either retool the deck that we have here or explore that guild in a different direction if there's a lot of space there. So vote for the guild you want or the deck you want, and we'll see who wins. We're going to be running that poll throughout the break that we take before the third match, and we will announce the results when we come back.
All right. Well, we are going to take a short break here while we prepare for the third match and pay the bills. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.